Welcome everyone. I'm Councillor Lynn Stagg, Cabinet Member for Traffic and Transportation. Some housekeeping bits and pieces. If the continuous fire alarm sounds, please evacuate the room and public gallery by the stairwells. Do not attempt to use the lifts. We will assemble at Queen Victoria's statue in front of the civic offices. In order to comply with the Guildhall Trust Fire Marshal regulations, anyone who signed in at the Guildhall reception desk should sign up when leaving the building at the end of today's meeting. Please can everyone who uses the microphones remember to switch them off when they've finished, otherwise the camera will remain on you. So we'll now make some introductions. Graham.
I'm Councillor Graham Heaney. I'm the Labour Group spokesperson on traffic and transportation.
Thank you. Scott?
Councillor Scott Peter-Harris, I'm the Conservative Group spokesperson.
Thank you. Tristan?
Tristan Samuels, Director of Regeneration.
Thank you. Tim?
Tim Reynolds, Finance, Portsmouth City Council.
Peter Shelley, Transport Development Manager, Portsmouth City Council.
And Hayley?
Hayley Chivers, Transport Planning Manager.
Lovely, thank you. There's no need for any apologies because everybody's here. Peter, are you going to introduce this for us, please?
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, members. The purpose of this paper is to seek approval to maintain essential public transport links for residents, whilst allowing a prompt, competitive tender process to ensure value for money for council taxpayers. On the 8th of December 2022, the Cabinet member approved the extension of all supported bus service contracts, that is the 12, 13, 14, the 22 and 25, until October 2023. The December report recognised the possibility that services might be surrendered at the end of March 2023 if government funding through the Bus Recovery Grant was not renewed. On the 23rd of December 2022, First Hampshire, Dorset and Berkshire, which is now part of the larger First South business, gave 3 months' notice that they wish to cease running supported services 13, 14 and 22 after operation on the 1st of April, and that additionally they would no longer run currently commercial service 18 after that date. First said that they would work with the council to continue the services, but that the new management had looked again at the figures, which would result in higher costs as well as the additional cost of the 18. And in view of the higher cost, approval is sought to run a competitive tender process at the earliest date, with new tenders proposed to start from 30th of July 2023 and with existing services running until that date. The plan is to continue with existing timetables from the 2nd of April to the 29th of July to maintain continuity of service for residents, with the following exceptions which are seen as beneficial. For the 13-14 service, to additionally fund the extra college journeys to Portsmouth City College's Tangier Road campus until July 2023 to allow students certainty while they complete their studies or undertake exams, and to allow the college time to consider proposals for the next academic year. For the 18, this would no longer run to South Parade Pier, but instead turn at South Sea Shops. This reflects current travel patterns and will allow the current awkward 35-minute frequency to become an easier to remember 30-minute frequency. The 3 service provides a nearby alternative link to South Parade Pier. The 22 will continue with its existing timetable. The paper also seeks approval to use Bus Service Improvement Plan funding to enhance supported services, subject to investigation of the options set out in the BSIP. And that following completion of the tender process, a paper will be brought back to a Traffic and Transportation Cabinet meeting in June 2023 to recommend awards and deal with any further commercial deregistrations. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Heaney, have you got any questions?
Yeah, just a couple of questions. Looking at the recommendation on the contract from July and the suggestion that we may include some options for enhanced services, so it would be something we would advertise, and then it would hit in on July, so that's the time for any enhanced service as well. We wouldn't then sort of do that afterwards, is that right?
Peter, I think it's going out for tender earlier than that, isn't it?
It's going out for tender in April. We will have the results back in time for the meeting in June, at which stage there will be various options.
Right.
And I should say they're based on a lot of the survey work we did last summer.
Another one relating to 1314 and the college, it says that there are extra journeys provided at peak times for the college. And obviously it's sensible they continue while the term ends. Does the college provide any additional services that don't follow the 1314 route? Because it talks about the college provides a number of buses for students. Does that mean they do different routes, or is it just on this particular route?
No, Councillor, those are on different routes coming in from further afield into the college. They're unaffected by this change.
So I wondered whether there's any mileage in or possible benefit to both the city and the college of maybe working together on the procurement of services that they might, are we thinking about that as a possibility? Because it might help both of us rather than the college negotiating for something and then us negotiating something. Would that be a possibility?
Well, the long-term situation is, as you may be aware, the council has no responsibility for, or funding for post-16 transport other than special needs or low income. So there isn't a longer-term proposal that we get involved in funding specific services, but we would certainly, as we already are, work with the college, share information and resources, and if there are better options, we will certainly share that information with them.
Okay, I'll leave it there. There was something else I was going to ask, but I'll leave that. I think the last thing I was going to ask was, what was the last thing? Oh yes, it was the question about the cessation of the bus recovery grant. I'm a little confused as to what the government is doing on this. Are we likely to see any other services being deregistered or dropped between now and October?
There's a bit of an unknown there, Councillor. I must admit Portsmouth has got off better, more likely than other parts of the country where there have been extensive withdrawals. In fact, the bus recovery grant was extended by 3 months to June 2023, which is welcome, but that was only only announced on the 17th of February, so I think some people had already made decisions by then. There is another cliff edge in June. I'm hopeful that the majority of the network in the city is well supported and therefore commercial, but we've specifically allowed in the report that there may be further deregistrations.
I think we're also hoping that through BSIP, where we're putting in things like the free Sunday travel on buses, that it will encourage more people to use the buses, because I think a lot of people don't use them because they haven't used them for years, and as the services improve, we hope they will improve anyway, with the cert schemes coming in, shorter travel times, etc., and the early morning. For example, we have the early morning for the shift workers. So if we can get more people using the buses, then hopefully that will have a knock-on effect with other services. I mean, there's an element of wishful thinking, but at least we're putting stuff in there to encourage people. Okay, thank you. Councillor Peter Harris.
No real questions from me. I think we've covered it previously. It seems quite a sensible thing to go back out to tender with the changes that are coming. I love the tender process. I don't like it when we extend them for no reason. So, I fully endorse the paper and just want you to go and make a decision.
Yeah, I think these routes as well, I mean, they cover almost every ward between them, almost every ward in the city, and the sort of inaccessible or less accessible areas. So I think it's important that we do support them. However, I mean, this is something I've been saying for 16 years. If you don't use the buses, they're going to disappear, use it or lose it. It costs as much to run a bus with one passenger as it does with 53. So the more people we can encourage to use those buses, the better the chances of the bus services surviving. So, I mean, that's a message to everybody. We've lost lots of things, haven't we, in the city, as of other places, because people don't use them. Things like shops in the city centres and that, because people use online services, etc. So we need to encourage people if we possibly can. Have you got any other comments, Councillor Heaney?
No, I'm very happy to support the recommendations that we should go out and support the services. So, yes,
Well, are you happy to, I could go through them all, but are you happy to approve all the recommendations, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, up to 2.6? Do you want me to read them all? Scott? Right, okay, so very happy. And thank you for the report and good luck with the rest of it, Peter. Thank you, everybody. That was short and sweet. Next week's or the week after's, whenever it is, won't be, I don't think. But there we are. Thank you very much for your time.